All right, hey guys, this is Gamache with Born Primitive Outdoor. I want to take a moment, just do kind of a pack dump, gear layout. What I got coming up is a spring bear hunt. We're going into Idaho. It's going to be a 7-day hunt. We're spending 6 days in the field, backpacking everything in. So I just want to lay everything out and let you guys know what we got going on. I'll break this up into a few different sections. Right now, I'm just going to go over the clothing system, then I'll clear the table and then throw out the gear and the weapon systems. And then I'll knock out the food last. So I'll make sure if you guys are watching this on YouTube, throw in some timestamps so you can kind of jump to the areas that interest you the most. All right, so for the clothing system, this is everything that I'm either gonna have on my person or have in my pack in a dry bag to keep it nice and dry so that I can throw layers on or take them off. So right off the bat, we got base layers here. This is the level 1 system. These are merino wool boxers. This is from a company called Minus 33. I think these are merino wool blend, but key piece of kit. I really only take one pair of underwear, and it's these into the field, and I'll keep them on for the entire 7 days. Why wool is important is it's not going to stink on you, halfway through your hunt. Next down, we got the Born Primitive Outdoor Ridgeline Lights and the Ridgeline Heavyweight. These are both merino wool blend long johns. These are a great piece of kit. I usually keep the light ones on in the morning, and then as we wind down, temperatures start dropping in the evening, I'll throw the heavyweight ones on, let the light ones dry out. In the evening when I hop into my rack, I'll just have these heavyweight wools on. This is a Ridgeline t-shirt from Born Primitive Outdoor. It's a 50-50 merino wool blend, 150 GSM. I typically keep this thing on me at all times during the hunt. I usually don't take it off. It's perfect weight to kind of keep your temperature regulated and dries out pretty quick. If temperatures do kind of increase or the sun comes out and I'm spending a lot of time glassing, I'll throw in a sun shirt. This is the Born Primitive Outdoor sun shirt. It's UPF 30, it's super lightweight. It's got a nice open hood. Great piece of kit for having out there on those long glassing sessions. And then just like the bottoms, I typically roll with a merino wool heavyweight base layer top. This thing, unless the temperatures are really cold, I won't put it on, but where this comes in handy is at night when I'm going to get into my rack. I'll throw this thing on as another layer to keep me insulated as I'm going down for the evening. All right, moving on to the level 2 system. Really only taking one piece of level 2 kit, and this is the Born Primitive Outdoor Quiver Half Zip. This one right here is a prototype that we're working on. And it's a grid fleece insulating layer. This thing is perfect for early mornings. And again, as I'm going down in the evening, I'll throw this thing on to help keep me warm. All right, moving on now to level 3. Level 3, these are your outer layers, and I'm taking kind of 2 pieces of kit. These are our core product right here. These are the Frontier 2.0. This is a new product coming out in June of 2024, so next month, if you're watching this now or in the future. These are awesome updated pants, increased durability, increased functionality, a lot of cool features. They got internal knee pad pockets, so I'll be throwing in these super flexible, lightweight, Born Primitive knee pads in there. Just awesome piece of kit. I love these pants. These are the heavyweight ones, and then we have the Frontier Light. Basically the same features, DWR. It's got side zips, knee pad pockets, just in an ultra lightweight version. I'll be taking both of these pairs out, and I'll just kind of be flopping depending on the temperatures out there. Again, for the level 3, this is the Born Primitive Outdoor Tundra Light Jacket. I love this thing. I think it's really versatile. It's good. It's a 60-gram synthetic down insulation, packs into its own pocket. I can use it at night as a pillow. I can throw it on me if I need some extra insulation, but extremely packable, super lightweight, badass piece of kit. Highly recommend the Tundra Light. Moving on, we've got the level 4. The level 4 system is your shells. These are your protection from the elements. These are brand new to Born Primitive Outdoor. Again, these are releasing in June of 2024 as well. So this right here is what we have, the barrier jacket. It's a windbreaker layer. It's also water resistant. And then it's got a grid fleece line on the inside. So super warm, extremely packable, and a great piece of kit. So that's gonna be my level 4, like windbreaker layer. All right, and then moving on to the last piece of level 4 kit, we got the Rainier Flex rain jacket from Born Primitive Outdoor. This is a new piece of kit as well for June of 2024. 4-way stretch rain gear, super lightweight. It's not extremely heavy duty, but that's the whole purpose. A nice, light, packable piece of rain gear that's not going to impede movement because it's 4-way stretch, and it'll keep the weather off you. All right, so moving on down to the accessory items. These are going to stay on me pretty much the entire time, except when I'm sleeping. These are gaiters. These are from a company called Helicon Tex. I've been wearing them for a while, testing them out. Love this product, super affordable, lightweight, packable, and durable. Moving on to gloves. I've got these fingerless gloves. These are ragwool, pretty inexpensive, from a company called Fox River. I use these pretty much on all my hunts. These are great for glassing, great for early morning stuff. You still have dexterity, perfect piece of kit. Just got these as a recommendation from a buddy of mine. These are OR gloves. These are fingerless, but then they have this mitt that kind of folds over to the top. Haven't worn these before, but I'm excited to give them a try out. These are a lot thicker, a lot warmer feeling than these other wool gloves. So we'll see how they go. This is the Born Primitive Outdoor Ridgeline beanie. This is a merino wool, 150 GSM, lightweight beanie. Can't go wrong with that. And then I also got a quiver beanie from Born Primitive as well. Both of these things kind of good for just layering up in the evening. All right, for footwear, I'll start with the boots. I was kind of unsure of the boots that I was going to take on this. I kind of went back and forth, talked to a couple people. It's going to be some pretty steep terrain. I was unsure if these would fit the bill, but I was told that they would definitely be sufficient enough. I decided to go with the Crispy Laponia. These new boots, I just got them maybe 2 months ago, but I've been putting in some miles in them, getting them broken in. They feel really good. So excited to give those a try in the mountains. And then for socks, I typically just wear Darn Tough socks. They're just an awesome sock, super durable. I've been wearing them for like 15 years now. I'll wear one pair of socks in the field, and then I'll only pack an extra pair. That pair I'll throw on in the evening when I get back to camp and I'm going down for the night. I'll put on a nice dry pair of socks, and I'll let the other pair dry out overnight. So Darn Tough socks. These I've been bringing on a couple hunts recently, just some leather moccasins. I got gifted these by Ryan Rotier from Rotier Outfitter out in South Dakota. Definitely a nice piece of kit. Bears have extremely good hearing, so this is going to be integral, I think, on that final stalk. And then last but not least, on the footwear, these are just a down booty, extremely packable. Again, when I get to camp, kind of a camp booty. It's nice to take the boots off, throw the warm socks on, get your feet in here, and then use these to walk around camp. All right, guys, we're back. So cleared the table, laid out the rest of my gear, and I'm just gonna go through it left to right. The pack system I decided to take is Kifaru Bedlam. This is a pack that's new to me, but I've been working out with it, throwing some weight in it, doing some ruck runs with it, getting it broken in, getting my body used to it. This is a nice pack. It's got the Kifaru Arc frame. It's their new carbon fiber frame. Excited to get this out in the field and test it out. All right, moving on to the shelter system. So the area that I'm going, and again, this is a spot and stalk archery bear hunt in Idaho. It's a lot of timber up there, a lot of steep terrain. So I'm opting to go with a hammock for this. I've done hammock hunts in the past. I've done hammock camping a good bit. I'm pretty comfortable and confident in my system. So what I'm going with is the Hennessy 4-season. This is the Expedition. The Expedition is for like a 6-foot person. They have another version that is for like 7, goes up to 7 feet. So for people who are a little bit taller. I just decided to go with this because one, it's just a little bit more packable. And I think this has been sufficient for me in the past. So awesome little system here. It comes with a rain fly and everything right here in this one little package. With the hammock system in here, I haven't compressed it down just because I've got my down sleeping bags in here. I'll go ahead and compress this down to a nice, more packable form in the next couple days. But I've got a top quilt from Sierra Madre Research, and that's going to be a 0-degree top quilt. for the hammock, and then I have a bottom quilt that hangs underneath the hammock to kind of battle that convection. That's going to be a 30-degree bottom quilt. The reason I went with the 30-degree is I think it's going to be sufficient. I've got a double wall bottom layer of the hammock. Inside there, I have kind of a space blanket or a pad. So the 30-degree bag or underquilt is just going to be a little bit more insulation for the evenings. In addition to that, moving on to the kill kit, just got some, this is the Kifaru hybrid game bags. I'm just going to take this kit and then some nitrile gloves, and that'll be what I use to pack out the bear. And okay, yep, I got some tent stakes here to just button down the rain fly when I get that shelter system set up. I can always make tent stakes out in the field. It's just a little labor intensive and tedious. I'd rather just, you know, take these. They're super lightweight, not a big deal to throw those into a pack. All right, now I'm going to get into, let's go over the bino harness. The Kifaru bino harness, love this thing, been rocking it for about a year now. This has been an integral piece of my kit. So I'm used to wearing like this, like a chest mounted kit. It's got everything on it that I need. It's kind of like my first line gear, if you're used to military terminology. In here, I'm gonna kind of pack out everything that I need if I didn't have my backpack on me or all this other gear. So I'm gonna have some fire starter material, some cutting tools and all of that thing in there. But the reason I love the Kifaru one is one, it has these mount points on the bottom, so you can put bow holders on there to hang your bow. You can put a holster underneath. This right here is a Razco holster. Just got this from them for my SIG 10mm X10 comp. So that thing is pretty awesome. This thing is going to stay on me at all times. It's never going to come off me. We're going to be in grizzly country. That's going to be essential. Another thing I love about the Kifaru bino harness is it's got these molly straps here on the front. So I like to throw my nav system in this juggernaut case right here, so it just mounts in here. I've got Onyx on my system. I can flip that down, check out my navigation, where I want to go, where I'm going, drop points, everything like that, all right here without having to pull a phone in and out of my pocket. So that's why I think that's essential. Anything else on here? And then I've got just a zipper pouch on the left side. That's going to hold some fire starting material and other essential items. And then I have the rangefinder over here on the right side. And I'll go over what those optics are when I get there. All right, now, as far as cutting tools, I think you kind of saw here on the side of the bino harness, I just zip tied this to the left side. This is kind of quick access should I need it. It's always going to be on me if I don't have this larger belt system. But this is the MKC Jackstone, also known as the Aaron Snyder knife. Those things are hard to come by. They kind of sell out every time they make a new batch. So if you come across one of those, definitely snag one up. It's a badass little Canadian belt knife is the blade profile that it was designed after. So cool piece of kit. Like I mentioned before, there's gonna be a lot of timber, so I opt to go with a Baco Laplander. This is just a nice little folding saw. It's a two-way cut, so it cuts on the push and the pull. I've used this a lot, and it definitely is gonna pay for the weight that I have to carry it. It comes in where I purchased this nice little sheath for it, so it'll just hang on my belt. And then some of you might be looking at this and going like, what is he taking? This is a K-bar buoy. The reason I decided to go with this, one, I've had this knife for quite a long time, and it kind of just comes in handy. It's a great length for a multi-use tool. I'm typically taking a hatchet or an axe into the field with me, but because I'm carrying so much gear on this 6-day backpack hunt, I opted to forego that axe and just go with the larger knife. I can use this thing for chopping. I've chopped down wood as big as or trees as big as my legs with this thing. It's a super heavy duty 1095 hard carbon steel blade, extremely well built knife, and you know, I think it's going to serve me well. In addition to the sheath, I got a little sail needle taped here, and then at this little section here, I think it's intended for a sharpening stone to go in here. I just threw in a 6-inch ferro rod into there, kind of lanyarded it to this elastic here, and then that way I always have a way to start fire with this thing on me. That'll probably just get strapped to the side of the pack, not onto my belt, just because of how large it is. You can see it kind of hangs down quite a bit. But I'll just throw this on the side of the pack and yeah, have that option as well if I need to process large amounts of wood. For the cover element, and so I started with the cutting tools. You'll notice as I go through here, all of these categories of items start with a C. So this is all based on the Dave Canterbury foundation of the 10 C's of survivability. I think people hear survivability and they think like, well, these are just survival items. I kind of really, in my mind, refer to it as the 10 C's of preparedness, because what you can do with all of these tools can apply to when you're building out a hunting kit, if you're building out a survival kit, if you're building out a bug out bag. You can use this same principle across all of those spectrums. So we did the cutting tools, now we're on to the cover element. The cover element, while the clothing can fall into this, all the articles of clothing that you wear, that's part of the cover element. I'm just gonna use tarps essentially to kind of cover down on the cover element. So this is a Hyperlight Dyneema tarp, extremely lightweight. This I throw just in a pouch on the outside of the bag, and I always have a way to kind of throw up a field expedient tarp should weather roll in and we're caught exposed away from camp. Additionally, I have a rain jacket, but I always like to carry a poncho. Poncho has many, many uses, highly versatile. It's the reason the military constantly uses it. But this is a poncho from Helicon Tex, and use this a lot. Again, I can also use this as a field expedient tarp to string up. Or if it's super sunny out, we don't have any cover from trees or anything like that in the area we're going to be glassing, we can kind of throw this up and get us some shade. All right, moving on to cordage. Cordage, I've got a couple options here. I typically will take a spool of number 36 bank line, and because the spools are pretty big, and I'll spool out about 200 feet and just wrap it up into kind of a quick deploy system here. So I've got 200 feet of number 36 bank line. And then here I've got 2 quick deploy ridge lines. These are basically 30 feet of 550 cord or paracord, and on them I have two sets of Prusik knots. So I can string this up between 2 points in a very field expedient manner, attach my tarp to it, and knock it out in probably about 3 minutes, setting up a shade structure or a tarp system. So 2 30-foot field expedient or quick deploy ridge lines with 550 cord there. All right, moving on to cargo tape. I just take 1 roll of 1-inch Gorilla tape. This is extremely amazing duct tape. I've used this quite a bit. The roll lasts forever. You could take this roll off like I did here and wrap it around your ferro rod so that you're not having to take a whole roll. But duct tape has many uses. You can use it to repair gear, like this tarp, this Dyneema tarp. If an ember lands on it, it's going to melt through it instantaneously. So you're going to have holes in your tarp if an ember falls on it. So you can use the duct tape to patch that area. You can use it for first aid. You can use it for fire starting material. So extremely useful piece of kit right there. I'll move on to cotton material. I'm going with a Shamag. This is about a 3 foot by 3 foot all black cotton, 100% cotton Shamag. Again, multiple uses for this, and that'll be a theme that you're going to find across all of this, is multifunctionality across all pieces of kit. All right, I'm going to hit on combustion devices. I skipped over this in the beginning, but there's really not an order here since it's just 10 items. But this is all my fire starting stuff. I usually carry a fire bag, and then in here I'll have some essential items. This is a wax canvas bag, so it keeps it waterproof, or at least water resistant given the zipper. And then I'll spread load this across various pieces of my kit. Like I said, in my bino harness, on my person, in my pockets, and in my pack. But what I'll typically carry is a tin with some char material in it. I'll carry a bunch of lighters, piece of fat wood, and then some Surefire. These are just some like wax fire discs to get fire started. If you got tinder that's extremely wet. And then a little container of stormproof matches. So once again, this will get spread out throughout my kit when I get out into the field. Containers, this is a nesting cup that will go with my water bottle. I have a 40 ounce water bottle. This is a Clean Canteen stainless steel water bottle. And then it just kind of nests right into this cup. And then these go into my bag, into the water bottle holder. I will always have a coffee cup with me. I'll have a way to purify water with this. I can use this to make char material in this container should I need to. Just a lot of different uses having this nesting cup. In addition to that, I usually don't take this, but I opted to take the MSR Jet Boil. Sometimes you don't want to start a fire. It takes too long to boil the water to get everything ready to make your meals. So I like the Jet Boil. It's super efficient with fuel. It gets water boiling quick with it, inside of 3 minutes, especially at the altitudes we're going to be at. We're going to need to boil it for a little bit longer. But yeah, I just like this. It's another container that I can use. Instead of a bush pot, I kind of use this as that other container. And then typically inside of it, I'll throw basically my meals for the day. So in here, I just kind of have it compressed all down into the container, the meals for that day. In addition to that, I've got a water bladder as a container. This is gonna hold all my fresh water. This is a 3-liter bladder. I'm gonna purify it with this filtration system from Sawyer. This is a Sawyer squeeze. And in here, I opted to not go with the Sawyer dirty bag, and I went with a CNOC 3-liter bag for dirty water. I think this is a lot easier to get this thing filled up with water. You can just open up the back of this thing, scoop the water into it, and then fold it out, and then you just squeeze it down through the bottom. What I was using with the Sawyer dirty bags was they pretty much just have this opening, so you'll have to completely submerge the bag. It takes a while. The compression of the water closes the bag, so it's hard to fill up. So you're kind of left taking a container and dumping dirty water into it. So this is just a lot easier system for me because it has this wider opening on the backside, easier to fill up with the dirty water. All right, on to compass. Always taking a compass into the field. This is a little map case. It's got a map of the area. I typically go with a 1 to 24K map of the area that I'm going to be operating in. If that area, like the hunt unit you're going to be in, spans over a couple different maps, you're just going to have to take a couple different maps. But I have them folded up into here, nice and compressed. And this compass is a Suunto MC2G. It's their global compass. It's got an inclinometer in it. It's got a protractor kind of built in with a 1 to 24K scale. It has a signaling device in the mirror here. It has a magnifying lens here that can also be used as a combustion device to start a solar fire with your piece of tinder or char material. Just an all-around amazing piece of kit right here. And then we'll go into candling devices. I kind of refer to these, candling being like lights, flashlights. So I got headlamps. I would typically take 2 or 3 ways to have light. This is a nice little Petzl E-light, I believe it's called. This one has a retractable back. So this kind of goes with me. This will go inside my bino harness, so I always have a way to have light, because sometimes these hunts are going way into the evening, and you're gonna have to be packing out at night. And then I bring this is a Petzl headlamp. I don't know what it's called, but this thing will typically be in my bag or in a pack, and then I'll just kind of open it up in the evening, and I always keep it around my neck, so I always have that light on me ready to use. I don't like having stuff in my hands with as far as flashlights. I need to be able to pull out my pistol or anything like that, so I'll throw this thing up. Typically also when I sleep, this thing stays around my neck. If I hear anything at night or I need to get up out and go take a piss, I've got the headlamp easily accessible. I'm not searching around for it in the dark. All right, and for the 10Cs, last but not least, I kind of covered it really quick with the cutting tool, but cloth sail needle. So this is a sail needle that you can use for gear repair. I typically just tape this to the knife sheath. I've got one here on the front and then one on the back of this folding saw. So that covers the 10Cs. Now I'm going to kind of go into the other systems like glassing and weapon system. And then I can kind of let you know what I'm taking for that. So let's just go over the glass. For binos, I'm rolling with the SIG image stabilized binos. Just got these from SIG. These are an amazing piece of kit. I had a buddy that I hunted with last year who had these. I was rocking the Swarovskis, and those were awesome, great piece of glass. But when it came down to really kind of trying to figure out if something was a bear or not, having the image stabilization was pretty key. So I decided I'm gonna roll with this. I'm also gonna, well, I'm deciding whether I'm gonna take a spotter. I think I will not. Just because I know the buddy that I'm going to hunt with is going to have one, so I'll just let him carry that, and I'll rock these image stabilized binos. For a rangefinder, I've got the SIG Kilo. Yep, this is a Kilo 8K from SIG. Awesome functionality with this thing. You can load gun profiles into it. So as you range something, it can give you your ballistic elevation adjustments. It also has an archery mode in it, which I will be using for angle adjustments for high angle or low angle shots. So the SIG Kilo 8K. And then for the tripod, this is a Night Force tripod. I don't believe they make it anymore. But the reason I love this system, and I've been rocking it for a couple of years, is the legs the two legs with these red caps will screw off, and these kind of convert into walking sticks. So now instead of me having to take walking sticks with me, I kind of have them as part of my tripod system for when I'm moving out, so I'm not having to take extra piece of kit. And then for the bino adapter, this is a Swarovski universal bino adapter. This will just fit right onto the tripod head. I can throw that on there. I can throw a spotter on here. It kind of works for a lot of different things, kind of multifunctional. And then for glassing, I always take this Thermarest little foldable pad. This thing will pretty much live on the outside of my pack, bust it out, and have a nice spot to glass from. All right, let's move on to weapon systems. I mentioned earlier that this is a Rasco holster. I'm taking the SIG X10 Comp. This is a 10 millimeter pistol from SIG. Again, I'm gonna be in black bear and grizzly bear country, so this thing will hopefully not come in handy, but it's there if I need it for protection. And then on to the bow. So this has been sitting back there the whole time I've been talking, but this is a PSE Evolve 30 DS. So this was given to me this year by PSE. Thank you, Brent Phillips, to use for all of my hunts this year. Really appreciate that. What I have on here is just a Sever quiver that's mounted to the bow. But for this, I'm rocking a HHA Tetra 4-pin as my sight, and then a Hamsky Epsilon as my arrow rest. I've got it attached down here. It's a drop-away arrow rest. Yeah, pretty awesome piece of kit. And down here, I always rock this bandana. It belonged to a buddy of mine. He's no longer with us, so I keep this on me in remembrance of him and to honor his family. So for the releases, my primary release is going to be an Evolution Outdoors Ibex. I've been rocking this thing for about 3 months now, getting a lot of reps on it. I've never shot a hinge release before, but I've been talking with Dale Perry over there at Evolution Outdoors, and he kind of sold me on it, and I've been getting a lot of reps on it, and I feel very comfortable with this. As a backup as a backup release, I have this Scott just thumb release that I've been using for a long time, and just kind of comfortable with that. And for arrows, Easton Axis 5 millimeter. These are 300s. Got a 3 fletch left helical on them, and then I'll be going with the Evolution Outdoors Hide as far as the broadhead for these. Okay, now on to first aid. First aid is often overlooked. It's something that's integral, very important. If you're carrying stuff that puts holes in people or things, you need to carry something that plugs those holes as well. So on the inside of my bino harness, again, this is my first line kit, so I'm always gonna have this on me. I have this little slick kit. This is from a company called Refuge Medical. And in here it has basically some just mission essential items. Always gonna be on me. It's just gonna fit into this pocket in the front of my bino harness. I always have a first aid kit on me. In addition to that, in my pack, I'll carry this little bag. It's basically a boo-boo kit. In here, I've got some over-the-counter meds. I've got Band-Aids, some Neosporin, things like that. So boo-boo kit goes in the bag. That's always on me. I mentioned the cargo tape as a way for first aid as well. And then on the outside of my bag here, I have a Refuge Medical blowout kit. So this is just a quick deploy blowout kit. It comes with, there we go, everything you need. You got some trauma shears in here, needle D, all the other essential items that you need for first aid right here in this quick deploy kit. So I can use it. I make sure that all my hunting partners I go with know where this is on my kit. So should I get injured, they can use my resources instead of having to dip into their own stuff. So that lives on the outside. And then I've got a cat tourniquet here that sits on the top as well. Tourniquets, highly, highly beneficial. Don't buy your tourniquets on Amazon. Get them from a reputable organization. I recommend Refuge Medical for all my first aid stuff. All right, and okay, I got some stuff over here. This is just a little kit of camera gear. I'm gonna take a GoPro with a little Joby mount. I've also got a head mount for my GoPro to do some self-filming. And then I got a battery bank here. A Garmin InReach here. This is the full-size one just because I'm too cheap to buy the smaller one. And then I always have the cell phone on me. The cell phone, should I have service, I can use this. It connects with the InReach so I can text easier using that feature with the Garmin. It also houses my digital navigational aid. So I'm going to be using Onyx for this, Onyx Hunt. In addition to comms, I have this piece of VS17 panel. This is just a signaling panel you can use for rescue, but really I like to use it kind of fold inside out. You have some brighter colors. You can hang this on a tree. You can hang it on your bag if you're going to drop your bag to go do a stalk. It's just a nice little marker for waypoints and things like that to find your kit and your way back a little easier. So that's a nice piece of signaling. And then, as I mentioned before, in the compass, you have the mirror that you can use as a signaling device for communication. And then last, I'm going to dip into food. For me, high caloric density is the biggest factor. So I want as much calories in as small and as light as a package as possible. So this here is just an OR waterproof stuff sack or dry bag. And I break down all of my food, as you saw in that container before, into just little gallon Ziploc bags. I'll typically have my breakfast and midday items in here. I don't eat a big breakfast when I wake up. It's usually before the sun comes up, so I'm not in the mood to kind of rehydrate some oats or go with a nice heavy breakfast. I typically would just do a high caloric density bar to include like a stinger, some coffee and things like that. And then I'll graze on, nuts, trail mix, bars and stuff like that throughout the day. And then when I get into the evening is when I'll pretty much do my one big meal before I go down for the evening to kind of fill me up. And for that, partnered with a company, Peak Refuel. They sent me a bunch of different meals. Peak has been awesome. I've been taste testing all of the ones that I haven't tasted before. Really excited to get these out into the field and kind of enjoy some meals out. If you haven't tried Peak Refuel, highly recommend it. Some amazing freeze-dried meals. All right, guys, so that wraps up our 2024 spring bear hunt gear list. Again, it's a 6-day spot and stalk archery backpack hunt into the Idaho wilderness. We're going to upload more and more content onto this YouTube channel, so stay tuned for more there. Also, if you want, follow us on Instagram and Facebook at Born Primitive Outdoor. Thank you.